boys and girls, students of Buddhist Sunday School, all students of primary, secondary, or even tertiary education, and also teachers of Buddhist Sunday School, parents, grandparents who are teaching the young very good Dharma or life lessons. May you all be well, happy, and peaceful. We are going to have a presentation titled Learning from Proverbs, Life Lessons for the Young. Now, this is a very important presentation because this presentation imparts very important life lessons or moral values or Dharma teachings. So, the presentation makes use of a selection of proverbs that have very good life lessons. Now, as usual, we are going to show a PowerPoint presentation of a selection of proverbs. The proverbs are all in English because when you translate to another language, then it loses the meaning. It's for that particular language that is English. And they are illustrated by some images, some animated to make you more interested to learn. So that is the outline for this. And we have altogether about 13 slides, including the cover slides. Now, as usual, we will launch the PowerPoint right from the beginning. Slide, very colorful one for the presentation title, Learning from Proverbs, Life Lessons for the Young. Now I have a selection of proverbs here, but they are not used in the following slides because we're redundant. So the slides have new proverbs. Anyway, when you have the time later on, you can look at each of these proverbs like, that one, I think one or two might be used also, all right? Like too many cooks spoil the broth, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, a barking dog seldom bites, and so on. So very colorful illustration. So now we are going to launch the presentation. This is just the cover slide, right? And I think I can take out my video so that you can pay more attention as it's not important to see my face. Now, so let us take off my video. And now we are going to go to the next slide. Now, firstly, you have to understand what are proverbs. Now, the definition is this. They are well-known phrases or sentences that give advice or say something that is generally true. And they are very useful because they give wise advice or some truths of life. That if you follow this advice, you will have the benefits. Like, for example, strike while the iron is hot, which means when you have an opportunity presented to you where you can get benefits and progress, you must not just waste it away and postpone or dilly-dally your decision. You should grab the opportunity and make use of it. And then another one, like many hands make light work. This pertains to the importance of teamwork. When you have many people doing a project, then it becomes easier. But you have another problem, too many cooks spoil the broth. So many people try to cook one dish in the end, the tak jadi, you see. That's the opposite. But of course, you have to use your wisdom to judge. Now, see these two images showing the young students learning from the proverbs. Now, let's go on to slide number 3. This is the first of the proverbs we are going to discuss, and that is, actions speak louder than words. Now, what is the meaning? You can see the animated image. Action, action, don't talk, 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 cakap banyak. So here you see that it's people's actions show their real attitudes rather than what they say. And this expression is sometimes used to advise a person to do something positive. There are some that make a lot of noise, but no work done. They don't take action. There's a problem that goes like this. Empty vessels make the most sound or most noise. So when we reflect on the meaning of this proverb, it is easy to make lofty promises, high grade promises. Oh, I promise I will do this, I'll do that. But very difficult to act accordingly or follow them through. So sometimes people lose trust on such people who just speak, using lots of words, but hardly any action. So that's useless. So this gives a bad impression of that person, right? So actions are a reflection of a man's character. Very important what you do. You can speak a lot of things. Can do this, I will do that, I promise this, I promise that. But what action is there? Right? So such people do not give people good impressions and they are not responsible. So you must make sure you are not like that. Actions speak louder than words. People judge a character based on what they do or what they don't do rather than just on their mere empty words. But of course, when you know a person for the first time, you don't know, you see? So you believe all that he says, his words, his speech. But then when you get to know him, you know this a person cakap banyak, but doesn't do much, doesn't do anything in fact. So this is a very important lesson you have to learn. Now let us go on to the next proverb. All that glitters is not gold. You know what is glittering? It's like shining or flickering. Now you can see here, this image shows the glittering. Of course, there are certain jewels or precious stones, or in the dark, they can glitter, like shining like that. You can see it. So when you see glittering, let's say among certain objects, stones or what, you don't just come to the conclusion, oh, that is gold. Of course, gold and diamonds can glitter. There might be some other reasons why they glitter, which means that you cannot just judge something on the external appearance. Someone or something may not be as good or as valuable as they first appear. So be careful. External looks can be deceptive, can deceive you, right? Can lead you astray. So don't just judge on the appearance. There's a similar proverb, don't judge a book by its cover. It's a cover lousy lah. So, but the contents inside might be good. Say, wow, cover so beautiful, but inside not much of value, what is written. So don't judge a book by a cover, quite similar in a way. So don't just look at external things. Now let us see some reflection. Anything which attracts you because of its external appearance may not be that worthwhile to use. Many people get cheated, you see. They see something being sold in the supermarket or in the market. It looks very nice, very expensive, or in an emporium. So they think it's very, very good. And the price may be quite high. But they just judge by appearance. And some, of course, get cheated by unscrupulous people who sell fake gold, fake diamonds, fake watches, a lot of fake things, right? They look very, very nice. So you have to be very careful. You have to investigate, find out more. The inherent quality, that means the actual original quality, may not be good, but the exterior look attracts or allures people. A lot of fake goods are like that, you know. A fake watch. Wow, this must be Rolex. It resembles that. And now you have fake money also. Fake $50 note, fake $100 note. So you have to be very, very careful. All that glitters is not gold. This is a very important lesson for you to learn. Otherwise, you can be cheated easily. Now, nowadays, you know, there are so many scammers, people who con the people, con young people, con old people, and then you believe them. You have to investigate. They put on something externally very attractive, you know. They even may dump some money into your account, and now they show you, give you some precious thing. Later on, when you transfer the money, then you're in for the great scam and you lose a lot of money. So this is a very important message. All that glitters is not gold. It could be fake or a useless thing. Many people have been cheated because they don't know this proverb well. All that glitters is not gold. Now let us go on to slide number 5. This is also a very important proverb. An idle mind is the devil's workshop. I learned this when I was in the primary. Idle mind, a mind that is not doing any constructive thing. Idle. Idle means like doing nothing, lazing around, sleeping, and the mind is very dull. That's where the devil will come. It doesn't mean a real devil. It means all those negative things from the outside or from your own inner mind will come out because your mind not occupied with positive, constructive things. So these distractions or these unwholesome thoughts will come and trap you, lead you to do bad things. Now, let's look at the meaning. When people have nothing to do or are bored, they are more likely to engage in activities that may be harmful or morally wrong. If they are doing positive, constructive things, then it's not so likely that they can be led astray. It's only when they have nothing to do, very bored, and then some lousy friends come and say, "Come, let's go to this house. There's a very good mango tree. We can steal the mangoes there." This is the devil working, not the real devil, but a useless friend influencing you. Why? Because you are bored, you are idle, doing nothing. In other words, when someone is idle, idle means like not doing any constructive, positive things. Right? Maybe it's because of boredom. They are not occupied with productive tasks, positive, productive tasks or work. So they may be more prone. That means they are more likely to be invaded by negative thoughts or behaviors. That's how, many young people get trapped by the taikola or the bad hats because they are not constructively occupied in their minds. So the devils come, not the real devils, but actually human beings, bad hats. They say, you want to earn more money or not? We will teach you a way. And they teach you internet ways to cheat people, scam, and all those stuff. So be careful. So the reflection we should do is this. A person should always keep himself fruitfully occupied. Right? Fruitfully occupied, positively occupied, maybe pursuing a good hobby or helping in the family. Of course, you have to study also as a student or help in a voluntary organization like if you are a Buddhist or a society or association or the church and so on. Then you find your mind is well positively occupied. So the devil won't come and disturb it. I don't mean the actual devil. What I mean is bad thoughts or bad hats come and influence you. So just use idea of a devil. I don't think that the actual devil comes. Actually, the devil is all within your mind, and you can be influenced by the bad hats outside. So, if a person spends time not doing anything worthwhile, lazing around, sleeping, right? Then he or she is likely to get engaged or to be occupied with thoughts which are not good. The thoughts may lead you to do some unwholesome actions or some mischief. And then if you are led astray by friends, they can lead you to do nonsense things like disturbing girls if you're a boy, or even girls disturb boys, right? Because you have no morally good, constructive things to occupy your mind. So it's very important you have good moral things to do, to think about. Otherwise, you can be led astray, especially mass media. You see, so many nonsense things on Facebook, YouTube, and so, but there are also good things. So you must know. Uh, So you see this, well, probably he's bored. This one is just the devil to tell him, bad hats are coming already, or the wrong thoughts are going to come out in your mind to lead you astray. So that is a warning. I learned this proverb, as I said, when I was in primary school. And the teachers gave examples and so on, very good. So we will make sure that we don't have idle minds doing nothing. You find that many of the young people that go into unwholesome actions, stealing, disturbing other people, smoking, drinking, taking drugs, all this because of the mind not strong and not morally and fruitfully occupied. They get bored already. So some lousy friends come and say, now try this lah. It's ganja. No? Then if you are good, you get the hot soup. And the same thing goes for smoking and drinking because you can be addicted. So you have to be very, very careful. So that is this proverb, an idle mind is the devil's workshop. Now let us look at the next one. A stitch in time saves nine. Now you know what is a stitch? Like for example, you use a needle and you stitch the piece of cloth, right? That is even a surgeon will use a type of surgical thread to stitch your wound. It's just like using a needle to close your wound, to make stitches. Some are very good, like this one, you see, they're making stitches, you see. So the proverb says, if you need to do a stitch, like for example, the surgeon needs to stitch up the wound, otherwise the blood will come out non-stop and the person can die. So you have to do it fast, promptly, then you can have a lot of benefits. In this case, you can save a life. So the wider meaning is this. If any problem is identified, you have a problem, it should be dealt with immediately. You must look at the problem fast and see what the problem is all about and take steps to remedy that problem. Don't wait and say, no, I'll do that later. Postponing, then it can become worse. Just as, let's say, you have a wound and you don't bother about it, the wound can become worse. You find infection can set in. So when you have a problem, you must look at the problem and take steps to deal with the problem quickly. If you dilly-dally until it's too late, then they had it. And this happens in various fields, like for example, your health. Let's say you have a cough, and that cough already 1 or 2 days already, you don't bother about it. But it warrants an investigation. So it is wise to take the step promptly to see a doctor because it has been a few days, your cough is not improving. So a stitch in time saves nine, which means that you go for consultation in time. If the doctor says you have an x-ray, then if you have an underlying sickness, then it can be cured in time. Otherwise, later on, you worsen, then gone case. All right. So a corrective measure taken in time saves the problem. Because the problem can grow worse and worse, and then the time will come where the problem cannot be solved, you see. This is the thing. Similarly, with your studying, you have problems, and then you say, Namala, wait, wait. And then you have more and more problems cannot resolve. If we have a maths problem or any other subject, then of course you can ask the teacher. Nowadays, many go for tuition. So that is an important thing also. So the reflection is this. When one has a task to do or a problem to solve lah, he should not procrastinate. Procrastinate means to postpone. Right? And never mind, wait another time lah. But he must be prompt. He must be quick to take action before it's too late. Don't wait. It might be too late. For example, you have certain pains and so on, and after 1 to 2 days, it's getting worse. And you say, wait until it becomes too late to do a cure. So that is a very important thing for you to consider this problem. A stitch in time saves 9. You see, of course, this is a surgery where the surgeon, maybe after operation, and he has to stitch up the wound. Sometimes even you go to the hospital when you have a fall and there's a deep cut, the doctor will stitch the wound. Otherwise, the blood might ooze out more and more, and then it might get infected. Poisons might go inside or things like that. So remember this very important proverb, a stitch in time saves 9. Now let's go to the next one. As you sow, you shall reap. That is a very important Dharma teaching. In fact, this religious teaching occurs also in other religions. This one is from Christianity, I think. Right? Buddhism also has this sort of teaching, a moral law. Good begets good, bad begets bad. All that you do, what goes around comes around, which means that you do something bad will result. You do something good will result. Either quite fast or little part in the life or even future lives. So, even as you sow, so shall you reap. For example, let's say you sow or you plant a mango seed. Can you get a durian tree? You can't, isn't it? And you sow maybe the beans to get the tauge, you think you can get a rambutan tree. Cannot, isn't it? And so it's actually cause and effect in terms of moral causation. So you can see this person, instant karma. It's quite interesting picture, no? This fellow wants to take a coconut or want to hit at somebody, but it hits the floor and bounces back on him again. So he gets back the reaction because he has a bad intention to hurt somebody. There was a case of two men going to do hunting. Right? Actually, we don't encourage, Buddhists don't encourage for people to take up the hobby of hunting. Imagine if you are hunted, you'll be so scared. People are aiming the gun at you. So the animals likewise also are very scared. When the hunters come, those days they use spears and arrows or sword or knives. But now people use guns. So imagine they chase the animal to run. And if you kill the mother of that group of animals, maybe a wild boar or maybe a deer, then of course what happens to the children? They'll be so sad the mother has died because the hunter has shot the poor mother deer or mother rabbit or whatever. So be careful of this. So the very important thing is to note that this actually is a religious law, a natural law actually. The reward or punishment of any deed always depends on the kind of action it is. Depends on what action you do. Good deeds are rewarded with success, and bad deeds are awarded some punishment. Actually, in the usual ordinary ways, If you do a good action, like you are very hardworking, study very hard, and so on, so likely you will be able to get good results, isn't it? If a person, you know, indulges in all the wrong hobbies, doesn't study, you think you will get good results? So you'll be punished later on because you fail the exam, you cannot get any job, all this. So this is actually cause and effect. So from the Dharma point of view, it's very important. We say this is actually the law of karma vipaka. Karma vipaka means what? Karma is the intentional action. The vipaka is the result, all right, related to what you do. It's just like if you hit your hand against the wall, that is your action. You hit it. The reaction is the vipaka. That means the wall is there, you hit it, what happens? You feel the great pain, isn't it? So this is a very important law. It reigns supreme, very, very high moral law. And in very simple terms, it goes like this. Good begets good. Bad begets bad. You do good things come to you. You do bad things come to you. Let's say you're always doing metta bhavana, right? Meditation on loving kindness. You send metta to so many people. Many people also begin to like you. So that is the result of what you do. There's another way of saying it. What goes around comes around. Just like this. This picture, see? There was another image I saw somebody throw the boomerang, and the boomerang came back and hit the fellow's forehead. Maybe he doesn't know how to throw properly. Boomerang, actually, you have to be very skillful to throw the boomerang, you see? So that is this very important thing you need to know. As you sow, so shall you reap. What you plant, you get the corresponding fruit. You plant an apple tree, you get apples. But of course, there are other things like you must have the proper conditions. So you plant a tree and you don't bother about it, it might not fruit. It might die, the tree, because it does not have enough sunlight. It does not have enough water. Then the pests come and attack the plant. All those things are conditions. But the basic thing is you don't expect to plant one type of seed and get another type of fruit. And that will be like Harry Potter's magic, usually. Now let us go on to number 8 now. Clothes do not make the man. Now you can see the animated image of the lady's dress, all beautifully colored. Now, this is quite similar in a way to what we did just now. I gave you the other one was do not judge a book by the cover. Now here we are talking about clothes. Now this one we extend it further. We can also talk in terms of the outside or physical appearance. You cannot just by looking at a person's external appearance. Then, wow, you are so attracted, you attach to that thing or that person. Just now I explained that similar argument, right? Because appearances can be deceptive. Now, for example, let's say, right? If you are a teenage boy, maybe from 5 or from 6, wow, you say, oh, yo, this girl, so beautiful, with all the cosmetics, the dress so nice, and then face so cute, everything. But you don't know about the internal character, which is more important. The fella might be a very kiasu type. That girl might be a very bad-tempered girl, a very, just like I say, selfish, right? Selfish also. And all the bad qualities not shown out yet. So you say this one is very good and you jatuh cinta. Let's say the boy jatuh cinta with the girl. And then after 1 or 2 years, I haven't found out the internal thing of the actual character, marries the girl. Then all the bad traits of the character come out. Very bad temper, right? Very bossy, no kindness, bullies the husband, bully the boy lah. So that's why today you see so many divorces, because people judge by appearance, right? So you cannot accurately judge a person just by appearances. Appearances can really cheat you, can deceive you. True character of a person can be judged. How to know the true character? You have to actually mix with the person to know the person well, and then you can see the inside inherent qualities. Is the person patient? Is he very good-tempered person? Is he very caring? Is he very helpful? Is he very kind, full of compassion? All these are very important. So here, it gives you this reflection. What really counts for a man in this transient? Transient means temporary. It doesn't last on this world, right? What comes and may go off again. Actually, this world of ours temporary. It's not like the nirvana, no fixed already. In this world, what really is important for a person is not the money he has, which may also be gone one day. All the possessions, his houses, his vehicles, and so on. All his power and fame, every famous politician and so on. One day also all these things will go away. And how many degrees he has when he has a temper like a devil? His power, a politician. Or his looks, very handsome. Many people judge like this, very handsome, lang moi, lang chai, all those things, but they don't know more important things. What sort of character? All these other things will pass away, but the inside qualities are the most important. Uh, because the qualities that are most important, not the external things, what are they? The character, his virtue. Virtue means the nilai-nilai kehidupan yang baik. The good qualities, the good moral qualities, the morality. Then his compassion, very important, karuna, 慈悲, and his wisdom. Some Buddha one do foolish things and get into trouble. Those are the dangers. So when you want to judge a person or want to like make friend with the fellow, get along with him, realize that these are the most important things rather than looking at the fellow's looks or how many cars he has or how many houses or how many degrees. Many are like that. Boys and girls like that. They want to look for boyfriends or girlfriends. So the thing they look. I was told by one lady, she said, now these are most girls, they want this. The flirt, this man got house or not? This man got degrees or not? This man got dato or not? All those things they look. They never ask, is this man caring? Is this kind? Is he kind? No. See, it's very sad. Now let us go on to next number 9. Don't put the cart before the horse. Now, you see, this is very foolish, isn't it? The picture shows it. Putting the cart before the horse. So, he's driving the horse. That is very foolish. Now, the meaning is this. It means to make sure that you do things in the correct order, whether you are cooking or whether you are solving problems in school or in your work office. What steps you must do. Let's say in cookery, you have to take certain steps to bake a cake. If you have the wrong order, all nonsense, and then what product you get? Lousy, isn't it? Right? That is a very important thing. So this proverb is used to advise people to do systematic work, wise work. In the horse cart, the cart is drawn by the horses, so the horse should be in front. And so every work, it means that every work should be done methodically. That means very organized, systematic, proper way. Let's say a doctor wants to examine a person to find out how can he just prescribe the medicine without important steps before, like maybe taking his pulse, taking his blood pressure, listening with the stethoscope, his heart, all this. Then only you will come to the step of diagnosing what type of sickness, and then only write the prescription, isn't it? So you find everything. You must have system, must know what to do first, and then also use your wisdom to use the proper ways. Now, the reflection is important. Given the piece of work to do, one must have the knowledge. You must know what to do. That's why it's so important for you to receive proper education. To do the work, Now you're studying, but next time when you go out to work, or next time you have a family, what are the steps that should be taken first? Some are not enough money even to sustain the family. They go and engage and marry already. Not enough money to really support a house yet. They go and do that thing first, and then later on run into real trouble with the alarm. That is a foolishness. So you must be able to have the knowledge, and then after that, take the wise, systematic, and organized. This word is very important. Systematic, following a certain system, very organized, not kalang kabut, huru hara. One who having no knowledge, worst thing is no knowledge or bad attitude. That's another thing. He said, no, don't do this first. The shortcut can do it. Then you get into trouble or failure comes in doing the work. And that type of person cannot be successful. He's inefficient. Leceh we call it in Malay. I've taught so many years, I found the best students I ever taught are not like that. They are very systematic, organized, and then use the thinking. They have the knowledge. And now even easier with the internet, you can Google and find out what is the correct method or the knowledge that you need. Otherwise, you just try and error. After that, the machine or the gadget that you are using also spoiled because you don't have the knowledge. So remember that. That is a very important thing. Now let's go on to number 9. This is another of those very, very important proverbs. You might have heard it before, but you have to apply it. A friend in need is a friend indeed. The proverb means that you may have many friends, but a true and real friend is someone who helps at a difficult time or when you really need help. And today is not easy to find real true friends. You get what we call fair weather friends. When you have money, you have possessions, or you maybe have a lot of things to offer the person, or maybe you are very good looking, right? So they are trying to make use of you, basically. This fair weather friend. And then when you're down already, maybe you don't have so much money already, or maybe you are sick, so you don't look so good already. Run away already, these friends. These are fair weather friends are useless. So you can see this picture. This is a true friend. When it's hot or the rain comes, he really is so caring, concerned about it. So choose your friends wisely. It's not easy to find a very good friend. Now, in the Dharma learning, we have the term called Kalyana Mitta. That is the best type of friend you can ever find. And this is translated as the spiritual friend. And what is this Kalyana Mitta spiritual friend? He has these qualities. He is one of virtue. He will never go do all the immoral bad things. Right? Virtuous. Doing morally good, wholesome actions only. In terms of speech, in terms of bodily actions, and also his mind only will think good, virtuous thoughts. And then he has metta. Very caring. Goodwill. Loving kindness, metta, I think I've heard the word. Very loving and kind. The best word is metta, but then translated, the best translation is loving kindness. Love as well as being kind. Then he has compassion. When he sees somebody suffering, he will do something to make the suffering less. Right? Like empathy, like putting himself in the shoes of the other person who is suffering. That is a compassionate person. The Buddha was, of course, the most compassionate. And the Buddha also had the metta. And the other quality, very important, is wisdom. He knows what are the things that should be done, what are the things that should not be done. That's very important, isn't it? So when you know with wisdom what are the things that should not be done, then you avoid that, then you will not get into trouble or problems so easily. If a person lacks wisdom, he is heedless, careless, he does the wrong things. He may get into accidents even. So wisdom is a very important quality, and it's not learned just by reading your books to pass the exam to get A's. It has to be learned and reflected about and practiced. Of course, you have your pendidikan moral, right? But it doesn't seem to work. So when you study the Dharma, very important thing is we want to teach you the teachings of the Buddha that will make you grow in wisdom. Lots of things to learn in the Dharma and practice and to understand, to reflect, to discuss. Then you find, so I say, this is a very wise man. Or sometimes you say, a wise old man. He may be old, but he's full of wisdom. Wisdom is not the same as cleverness, though. He may get a degree in the university, but he can behave stupidly, though. Smoking a lot, drinking a lot. So is that wisdom? It's not wise to do that, isn't it? So he has studied at the university. So the other quality you have to concern is that he is selfless. That he helps the person not for any bad intention or motive, just selfless helping, very kind, compassionate, and he's an excellent guide. He guides you to resolve your problems and finally to conquer all your suffering. Wow, that is the best type of friend. Very, very difficult to find. Of course, people, the monks will tell that a very good monk, cultivated, can be your Kaliyamita, but it's not easy. Sometimes you can't even meet that friend, that monk and so on, or nun. So sometimes you have to maybe see which teacher you trust, or any person in your religious organization that you find can be a good friend. Even if it's older than you, doesn't matter, isn't it? Because you can learn a lot. And these are the qualities. You can check that later. Now we go on to number 11. Pride goes before a fall, or pride comes before a fall. I think you know this one easily. This proverb means that if you are overconfident, very boastful, arrogant, too proud, you think you know a lot and you are able to do many things, something bad can happen that can make you look foolish. Like for example, this person say, I can, in school, I represent the school in high jump and so on. I've seen that happening to some students, on the trip. They jump down from, you can actually break the legs, because why? Ego. Very proud, want to show. Maybe this boy wants to show the girls. So what happens? Because of the ego, he does something foolish, and not only he will appear foolish, he might hurt himself. So you have to be careful. So a person who has this ego, this self-pride or conceit, is, is capable of doing foolish things, unwholesome things, right? Then he says, let's say this man, right? Very egoistic. He say, I can drink 3 or 4 bottles of liquor, no, whiskey or beer or whatever lah. And I can tahan, no, very proud and go and boast to other people. Pride goes before a fall. So he starts to show off lah. I can drink 1 bottle, 2 bottles, but after that, what happens? He might even die. He collapses. Oh, there's some very proud. I can eat how many durians, And then you find there's a limit actually, but he wants to show off. Just like now I find some stupid competitions. See who can eat the most burger lah, or all sort of nonsense bao lah. The more you eat, then you become the winner. No? I think it's very stupid. That pride goes before a fall. You overeat, then some danger can come to you. You see? Whereas you run in the Olympics, that is okay. Or you play a game, that's all right, competition. But this one is completely different. So you have to be careful. Beware of the danger of ego. Basically, it's the ego, pride, self-conceit. So because of the self-pride or conceit is also like pride, arrogance. Out of ego, a person can say or do foolish. He says very foolish things, on the boast line, in other words. And then not long later, you will meet with something feels very shameful. I can do this, I can do that. And my father was like this, like that, all the boasting. And one day, you find, simple thing also he doesn't know, he fails in his exam also. So, and worst thing is if they do unwholesome action. I'm not afraid, anybody. I can go and steal people's mangoes also. I know the ways of not to be caught is stupid, isn't it? Right? Then one day he's caught. Pride goes before a fall. So we'll bring him results or consequences that will cause him suffering. If it's a criminal act, it can be caught by the police. If it's immoral act, karma will take its course. You do something against the karma law, then you get the bad effect. So you have to be very, very careful of this. So now we are at 11 already. So we are going to have only 2 more slides. So you see that every of the proverbs I've discussed so far has a very great applications and important Dharma or life lessons. Dharma is there. Or if you don't want to use the word Dharma, you say life lessons. But the important thing is you must apply and not just study this to pass an exam, an English exam or that. Now let us look at now we are going to number 12 now. Those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. Now, you see the picture shows very clearly. The fellow is just an image. He's living in the glass house, and he throws stones. He can break his own glass wall, isn't it? That's foolish, isn't it? You have certain things that you should not do because you are experiencing it, and yet you want to do those things to other people. Now, let us look at the meaning. This proverb is all about people being hypocritical. Hypocritical means he's a hypocrite. He tells people not to do this, but he himself does it. The doctor tells her, you don't smoke. It's very, very bad, but he himself is smoking. That is not good, isn't it? And he says, you are doing the wrong thing. You have all the faults, but he himself cannot see his own faults. So this proverb basically means you shouldn't judge people for faults or failings. You say, you are like that one. Why are you so stupid? Why are you doing this? But he himself is doing also. He doesn't see it. Why you should not be using bad words? Why are you shouting? He himself has been using bad words and shouting. So others' faults, you cannot see. Then you shouldn't do that. It's just like that you know that you should not throw stones because it might damage the house of another person. But the fellow is so stupid. He's living in a glass house and he throws the stone, he can break it. So we have to reflect on this. Easily seen that this is from the Buddha's teachings, Dhammapada, verse 252. Easily seen is the fault of others, but one's own fault is difficult to see. That's very true. Many people want to point the finger at another person. When you point the finger at another person, he does not realize that 3 fingers are pointing to yourself. What about your own faults? Right? So he says that like chaff, one winnows another's fault. Chaff actually is let's say the covering of, let's say, the paddy right? You don't want the husk, isn't it? The covering, you want the paddy only. That is a chaff. Useless one you would throw away. So then what do? Actually, they have various methods. One of the methods, let's say, they will using certain machine or and then to separate the husk of the paddy from the seeds. Then after that, they have winnow means you get a stream of air to blow away all the very light, useless covering, like dust, like that, see. So it's just a person. He winnows another's fault. Always want to find the faults of others. But his only, he doesn't want to reveal, or he may be not aware of it. Just like a very cunning hunter, you can say, or maybe a person that always goes to the forest to catch the wild birds and the wild hens. So he will always hide behind all those sham branches. No? The sham branches means something like people don't know that there is a trap in something, maybe a bush or whatever, but there is this fella there. That means basically he hides. He hides himself, right? As he is. He doesn't want to reveal to other. In this case, doesn't want to reveal to the hand. Right? So he's a hypocrite. Hypocrite. Others' faults can see, one's own faults cannot see. That is a terrible thing, isn't it? So basically, if you follow the Dharma, the morality, mindfulness, all this, you won't have all these problems are all in the Dharma already. Every one of them. So you learn the Dharma, you learn all the problems also. Good problems. Now let us go to the last one, this last slide. So we have this learning from Proverbs, life lessons for the young. Now, the Proverbs can be taught by teachers or elderly people or your parents, or you learn from the books and now with the internet, right? So we make this wish, may you practice life lessons diligently. Just to learn the Proverbs without practicing, actually is quite useless. But that's what's happening in Pendidikan Moral. They learn all the things that are good things, but they don't apply them. Last time, when I was long many years ago, before my retirement, I was teaching in one of the schools, Form 3. I was given, I think, 2 classes for Pendidikan Moral, just 1 week, a few periods. My main subjects were other subjects. Then I found, gosh, during the Pendidikan Moral test, there were some students copying for Pendidikan Moral. What's the use of that? Copying is an immoral act. Cheating is it? So you find I personally don't think this subject is really fruitful. I never learned Pendidikan Moral to pass exam, but we have moral lessons where they apply and do the things, the projects, and then help gotong royong, all those things, but no learning for exams. But now and then they will do all sorts of things in order to get the A. So has it worked? I don't know. I've taught it and I'm quite disillusioned with it. So when you practice life lessons diligently, your life will then be more peaceful, certainly. That means these proverbs I've discussed with you, they have life lessons of Dharma, and if you practice them all, definitely they are going to help you in your life to be more peaceful, more happy, more wise. So that is this presentation. I hope that you have benefited from this presentation. Now it's coming to almost an hour already. Now, before I conclude, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you, boys and girls, and all the students, the young people, the youths who have watched this from beginning to the end, and also the teachers of Buddhist Sunday School or moral education, the parents and the grandparents for taking time and putting in the energy and effort to follow this presentation with my blah, 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 right? So I'd like to say thank you and sadhu for your patience, for your great effort in following the presentation. So before we end this, let us fold our palms together and say sadhu 3 times. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. To all of you who have been following this presentation, may you all be happy and then peaceful and healthy, and may you always learn life lessons on the Dharma. Take care.